What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video. And today I wanted to come on and talk about second round pick cornerback Mike Sainristil from the University of Michigan, who, by the way, was the MVP on the #1 defense of the national champion of college football last year. And I believe Nick Saban actually came out and said that this guy may pound for pound be the best player in college football from last season. And I know a lot of people were taken back by his size. He's only like 5'9". But let me just say, before I start rolling the tape out, this guy stacks a whole lot of football IQ into that 5'9". That said, let's just jump right into the video. Now, first and foremost, I want to ask anybody that hasn't already to reach up there and hit that subscribe button. It's the only way to ensure that you'll see all of my videos. I don't know, the way that YouTube is, sometimes you may not even see them all then. You might have to hit that bell. But while you're there, you can reach over and hit that like button too. It doesn't cost a single penny, but it helps the way everything works on this channel. Just like sharing and commenting, and all of that helps the channel out. Now, since being shifted over from the wide receiver position on the offensive side of the ball, Sainristil has 20 pass deflections and 7 interceptions. Not to mention the 4 sacks and the 11.5 tackles for loss. But more than just numbers, there's a whole lot of intangibles that just hop right off of the film and into your face. Here's one such example right here. As you see, as the play starts out, Sainristil's down here at the bottom, and as this play starts out, he automatically reads that the quarterback's going to throw to the wide receiver that's come out here in the flat, or the running back, I should say. And he just reaches up and bow, just kills that play. You watch it back in regular time, you can see it was a nasty hit. Seeing it from the other direction really puts a little bit of color into it. I mean, you could just see that just immediately snap, bow. He just knocks the guy back. Watch it in real time, bow. Now, those that make mention about this guy's size definitely haven't seen him hitting people like this. Now, being a former wide receiver, this guy does have a knack for knowing what the quarterback's going to do. Now, in this situation right here on this play, he's aided by one of the defensive linemen that get through and puts his hand on the ball right as the quarterback is releasing it, and the ball flies a little bit, a little bit like a dud. And Sainristil is able to make the interception. And if it wouldn't have been for him tripping up, I think this probably would have went for 6. You watch it back from this direction, though, you can see as the defensive lineman comes in, he kind of hits the guy, the pass wobbles a bit and goes right into Sainristil's hands. Here's another example right here of him getting in there, using his hands to his advantage. Now, while this kid wasn't the greatest wide receiver in the history of mankind, he is able to use those ball skills that he got from that position, at his news position over there on the defensive side of the ball. And this play turns into a tip drill. As you see, the ball goes up in the air, and Sainristil is able to pull it in and get through some traffic there, come out the other side, and put some yardage all the way down the field and get a touchdown. And if you watch the play from this side, you actually see that I was wrong, and it wasn't a tip drill at all. He actually got in there and took the ball away from the wide receiver right there. I thought they'd actually tipped it in the air and he pulled it in. But looking at the tape from this angle, you'll see he steps right in, makes the pick, and then kind of runs into his own defender there. I thought there was some tipping going on there, but it wasn't. And runs out the other side and then makes a cut back across the field. And as you see, it's off to the races from that point on. This play right here, I think this is just a situation where the quarterback and the wide receiver weren't on the same page, but Sainristil was out there on the same page with the receiver. He was definitely watching what was going on in this play and watched the play transpire and watched the ball go right into his hands, where the receiver looked like he maybe ran the wrong route there, or the quarterback threw the wrong route. But as you see, Mikey's able to get the ball and then just take off all the way down the sideline. Another pick 6. Now, I heard a bunch of the talking heads talking about how Sainristil is real big on jumping routes, and that at the next level they're kind of worried about maybe if he'll get caught with his pants around his ankles a couple times. But in this situation, in this realm right here in college football, here is a prime example of him jumping a route, making an interception. And yeah, I mean, I guarantee you that quarterback was definitely kicking himself in the ass later on that night, thinking about, number 0 over there in the white jersey, stepping in front of that pass. He thought for sure that he had a completed pass there. And in my opinion, this is a situation where, you know, he kind of eyeballs the situation. He sees what the quarterback's doing. If the quarterback would have maybe judged the field a little bit better, he would have tried to hit the receiver that Sainristil was originally on. But, you know, he was already kind of in the motions and doing what he was doing by the time that Sainristil had jumped the route and, you know, started dipping down below, which I wouldn't say he has the best speed in the entire world, but he definitely is quick. Looking from the other angle here, you'll see little Tua as he gets rid of the ball. And yeah, I mean, Mikey's just standing there just waiting for that one to happen. Like it was meant for Zero more than it was meant for the guy in the red jersey. This guy is an absolute demon at the nickelback. This play right here, he's able to just read the ball very well from the moment he sees it leave the quarterback's hands, and is able to kind of short draw that wide receiver, get in between him, the ball. And I think the wide receiver thought that he couldn't jump that high to be able to get up there and get that ball. I really do believe that receiver thought that he was going to have that just fall over Mike's hands there. And the way that all worked out, you know, Sainristil ended up with another interception. Yeah, the more I look at this, you know, you see this pass from the other direction, and it really looks like the wide receiver thought that ball was going to go over Sainristil's head. And then Mikey's able to reach up there and grab that pick with pretty much with ease. This next play was actually from the national title game. And yeah, this is just an overthrow here. And he's able to do big things with this, actually. Makes that interception and then cuts it back and really shows us his ability to move with the ball in his hands. You know, he really honestly got real close to get a touchdown here. He basically did everything but score. He got knocked down on, what's that, the 7-yard line? But this is just a clear example of Penix overthrowing his receiver and Sainristil making him pay for it. As the receiver does get his hand on it, but the ball deflects, goes right into Zero's hands. Yeah, as you can see from this other angle, it tips the receiver as the top of his fingertips, but, you know, goes right into Sainristil's hands. Now, beyond coverage skills, the one thing that I was impressed with Sainristil a whole lot was his play speed. Just his ability, you know, to make things happen within the play itself. And you'll see this play right here is a perfect example of that. You know, he closes a lot of ground. He sidesteps a block, first of all, there. The running back tries to chip him, but doesn't quite get him, even though I'm not really sure why you're trying to go for the feet on a little guy like that. He should have put a better chip on him than this play right here probably would have even have been in anybody's highlight reel. But Zero is able to get around that corner right there, that edge right there, with absolutely no problem and put a hit right on their quarterback. If I'm the coach, I am so pissed off after this hit right here, because you never want to have your quarterback taking hits like this, but especially not just wide open, you know, throwing your quarterback up in the air and flailing him to the ground type hits. I don't care if the guy's 5'4" or 6'4". You don't want your quarterback taking hits like this. He's not going to live a long football life or have a long shelf life in any conference, league, whatever, but pee-wee football, whatever we're talking about here. Your quarterback's taking hits like this consistently, you're not winning football games either. I'd really like to be a fly on the wall here in the conversation between the coach and that running back after that flop right there. That's horrible. And I spoke on it a minute ago about the ball skills this kid has. And those ball skills go a long way on defense. You know, he's able to get his hands in there. And if this ball is thrown a little bit better, this probably goes for 6 points. But it's not. And as you see, Mikey's able to get his hand on it, bat it, and then his teammate's able to pick it right off. And it's off to the races. Of course, they don't get all the way, but they get up to about the 41, which is a shorter field and down there by the end zone. Plays like this are so valuable to a team because, you know, this team was driving down, you know, they're on the verge of putting points on the board. And now all of a sudden, Michigan's got the ball back midfield. You know, it's a game changer. And as I said, better thrown ball, and this is a touchdown right here because that receiver over there is actually by himself over there with Sainristil over here batting that pass and 9 picking it off. There's a receiver over there in the bottom corner right here who was wide open. So that's kind of the thing. This could have been a highlight on Indiana's behalf had that been a better throw. There should have been more air underneath of it, but Sainristil is able to get in there, bat that thing outward, tip drill, and yep, Michigan ball. Now in this play, you got the tip drill again, down here near the end zone. As a matter of fact, it's in the end zone, but this time Sainristil's teammate tips the ball and he makes the pick. And he gets tackled back there in the end zone, so it's gonna come back down to the 20 or whatever. But this is another situation where you not only deny your opponent points, but you take the ball away. Now it's Michigan ball back to 20, and it changes the lay of the game. I love to see that this kid's hands are in and around the ball every time that he's in an area where the ball is going to. Watching it back from this direction, you can see his teammate and opponent look like they got their hands on that ball right there as it goes straight up in the air, and Sainristil ends up with it. Now this play right here is just a simple situation where the receiver did not get two hands on the ball as he's going to pull it in, and the defender, which is Sainristil, steps in right behind him and gets the ball as it goes airborne. Watch it back from this direction, you get a better angle of it. You can see the quarterback actually hits his receiver right in the hands. I mean, honestly, I'm not real certain that could have been a better pass thrown there. Hits him right in the hands. The ball pops out, goes right into Mikey's hands. Now, I talked about intangibles a little bit ago, about what he brings to the football field, about how he stacks a whole lot of football IQ into that 5'9". And here's just another example of that right here on this play right here, which is going to be just a simple little quick pass to the running back here. And he gets the ball and turns, and when he does, Zero is waiting. Sainristil is waiting and makes the hit right on the ball and runs right through the ball, and the ball pops out, and we got us a change of possession here. Boom, fumble. One thing I wanted to point out and make light of is no matter what this man's size is, he can get the job done. As you see right here on the edge, he makes this tackle single-handedly. Now that's what the guy over there trying to tackle him on his side, he makes that tackle. Somewhere along the lines, people started, equivalating size with tackling ability. But as you see with this kid right here, that should not be a conversation that anyone's having with Mike Sainristil. There's a lot of times in football where you leave a guy unblocked. You think to yourself, hey, this guy's not going to be able to do anything, so let's just take the extra blocker, move him that direction. And then, this other guy down here, he'll never be involved in the play. Well, most of the time that happens, you're not envisioning the fact that your quarterback, during his handoff process, may fumble the ball. Well, that's what happened in this play right here. And in the process, as you may have already guessed, Agent Zero is waiting. One little mess up's all it takes, and he slips around 87 right there, who tries to put a small little block on him, but it's just not enough. Now, when you send your nickel back in to put pressure on the quarterback, this is exactly what you want to see right here. As the quarterback goes to do his play action, he can't even turn and take one step without having that zero firmly placed in his line of sight. He has to get rid of the ball instantly, and the ball goes incomplete. I'm not sure you could have drawn that up any better unless he actually got the sack there. Little option play here, and even though this definitely looks like probably the best idea was for the quarterback to keep it, he was not ready for Zero to be stuck right there on that edge and just to kill that play. No gain whatsoever. Yeah, you didn't take a loss in the backfield, but you didn't get anywhere either. Now, in this play right here, I fully believe that this quarterback was just kind of hoping for a prayer right here. He rolls out of the pocket. I mean, he barely survives that pocket right there. Rolls out and then just lets it loose. Now, from his angle, I think he thought that his receiver, number one down there, was wide open. But in reality, Mike Sainristil was already putting himself in between the quarterback and the wide receiver and making sure that that ball got nowhere near where it was supposed to. Now, I hate to see in this process that number one actually came down and smacked his head pretty hard. And as you can see from the replay there, it knocked him out. Definitely a scary moment there for football players, man. That head smacking off the fucking ground is serious. Unfortunately, it takes away from Sainristil's play. Him hitting his head there is a scary moment. Now, this play starts off and it sort of begins to look like it's one of those plays where the quarterback has shown one of Sainristil's weaknesses by being able to show that he kind of bit on the route there and then he threw over his head. But Mikey actually recovers pretty well here if you watch the play all the way. He doesn't give up on it. He continues to run down the field. He makes the tackle at the 7. So yes, the ball did sail over his head here at the 40, and being short definitely hurt him, but he's able to recover and make the tackle down the field and, kind of be in on the saving the touchdown there, even though there was a couple more players that probably would have also gotten involved if he hadn't. Now, this play right here, you'll see Sainristil down here at the bottom down here fighting through some traffic. Now, it's just my opinion here, but it kind of looks like, like that wide receiver comes off the line and sets a pick for him right there. But who am I to say? I guess it depends on the officials or what conference you're in or whatever if that gets called. But the good part about it is the way that he recovers and is still able to get his hand in there and knock the ball down. You get a better view of it from this angle, but as you see, it was a really good play on the ball right there. Obviously, the takeaway from this play is the receiver's not able to haul this in, and it's incomplete. Inside the 10-yard line, if your players can step up and make a play and keep the opponent from getting the ball in the end zone, then they've done something. Now, in a situation like this, that receiver had that catch. He was hauling that in, and Mikey stuck his hands in there and knocked it away. In my opinion, anytime that you have a denial of a touchdown inside the 5-yard line, that's a hell of a play right there. Now, in this play, I love how Sainristil is able to read the play and react with it. Now, as you see, he's in motion as the ball is snapped, but instantly sees that the play is going to that direction and shifts with it, and it instantly mirrors the quarterback, puts the hit, and keeps him out of that end zone. Otherwise, if Sainristil hadn't been there, he would have definitely gone around that edge and gotten points. Just great read and react skills in there, in my opinion. He's able to come around that corner and stop the ball. As I was saying a minute ago, making a stop inside the 5-yard line, to me, in any situation, is always one hell of a play. Now, obviously, you don't like to see anybody giving up first downs inside the 10-yard line. But when you're the last line of defense right there, and you keep the guy from scoring, you definitely have done your job, at least. Now, I realize as a captain, his defense is still, surrendering yardage there. They get a chance now to go from the 1-yard line or whatever. So it's a loss overall, but it's a win individually for him to be able to stop him at the 1-yard line. And let's just be honest, you can't stop them all. Eventually, when you're playing a top-tier program and top-tier football, they're going to score points, especially against Ohio State. Nobody would be perfect, because if he was perfect all the time, he would have been the number 1 pick, y'all. Of course, at the same time, you don't like to see your guy getting dogged across the middle of the field all that much. I mean, it happens because you're in a sport with a whole lot of athletes, especially Ohio State versus Michigan. Things are going to happen, but you don't like to see them happen, very often, so to speak. If you watch it back from this angle, you'll see that wide receiver had a step, maybe 2 on him. Now, Mikey's able to make a really good dive-in tackle right there that actually maybe saves another 10, 15 yards, but still, you definitely don't like to see that much in any game. Now, here's an example of a taller wide receiver having the ball thrown up to him with Sainristil over there trying to defend him, and him being able to get up underneath of the play and knock the ball out. As you see, he sticks his hands right in there and knocks that ball out. This kid is loaded with ball skills. As you see, he just sticks his hand right in there and knocks that ball right out. I absolutely love to see this kind of thing right here on film. The play starts, it looks like the wide receiver has the inside advantage, but then Mikey's able to just cut him back off and able to get in between the quarterback and the wide receiver and stop that pass from happening. You watch it back from this angle, you can really see it. Like, he just gets in there and smacks that ball away. Wow. What had the beginnings of, a potential game there with the edge over here kind of open at first, ends in a 2 to 3 yard loss. And if you watch from the other angle, the running back never even sees him coming, and he actually overextends and goes past the running back a little bit, but still makes the play. Now, as this play develops right here, watch Sainristil there, number 0, and you'll see that there's actually a defender here that is getting ready to flatten him right there. Like, he steps around that block completely and then is able to cut back across and make the tackle. Now, the opposing team does get some yardage out of this play, but it's good for me to see him be able to sidestep that block and never give up on the play. Always good to see a guy fight through trash, or, you know, in a situation where maybe other players would have quit on the play, but this guy fights right through it and ends up becoming part of the play. Now, I'm not saying 11 would have made it through there without somebody else scathing him, but he's able to get in and make that tackle after probably, you know, he probably shouldn't have been in that play whatsoever, because 19 should have flattened him. Good example here of the quarterback, you know, being able to get rid of the ball under duress. 17's on him, and as you see, Sainristil is all over him, extends, puts the hit on him. They still completes the pass, still gets in for the touchdown. In these situations right here, as I stated before, I realize Sainristil is a captain of that football team, but this is a situation where individually he did his job, but the defense itself wasn't able to stop the play. Now, this is a broken play, and the quarterback thinks that he's going to be able to spin out and go to the right side of the field, and when he does, Zero is waiting. That blur you see on your screen right there was Mike Sainristil coming in for that tackle. Read and react skills are on point with this guy. As you see, the play starts out, and originally I think his responsibility is to kind of go to the outside, see where the play goes. But as the quarterback starts to get caught up in a bunch of junk here and starts to step out, you'll see him step over and through the line of scrimmage and come across right there. And there's nothing the quarterback can do. His goose is already cooked right here. As soon as he backs into that lineman right there and Sainristil sees his lane, it's already over. If you watch it in real speed, you'll see this guy is quick around the line of scrimmage. Prime example of him being able to get his hand in between the quarterback and the wide receiver and bat this ball down. This guy made a freaking life out of this the last 2 seasons at Michigan. This is literally his forte. This is his thing. As you see from the other angle right here, he'll just get enough on there, just enough on there, and the ball kind of slips through the wide receiver's hands, but I think it's because he feels Sainristil right there on him, but yeah, he drops that. Say what you will about this man's size, but I'm going to let you know that these running backs back here trying to put a chip block and trying to put a block on him ain't getting it done, y'all. Watch in real time. Bow! Here's an example of the pass being on point, reception being on point, and the tackle being on point. Watch. He catches it and bow! But he lost it. That, my friends, is incomplete. This might be one of the better plays that I had never seen before right now. Now, as you see, Zero for Michigan, Mike Sainristil, he actually makes a hell of a play on this, knocks the ball out and everything. Watch. Ball's not, well, you might could say he got there a step early, right? But the ball hits his arm. Ball comes out. Receiver falls to the ground and makes the catch. Look at that. He rolled his leg in the process. But I don't think we could ask much more of Zero right there. Like, you really can't. Like, the man made the catch anyway. This guy is unbelievably fast, lining up at the nickel position between that nickel position and getting to the quarterback. He is unbelievably quick doing that. Watch this play. I mean, the quarterback really can't do much there. As soon as he realizes that the play isn't what he thought it was going to be, Sainristil's already on him. And as you see, that running back try to chip him again, but yeah, he might as well get that up. Watching it back in real time, you'll see, I mean, he just blows this play up quick. Again, coming from that nickel spot, going to the quarterback, he is unbelievably fast. Look at him come around that corner, just bow. I mean, obviously he's a step behind there, but I mean, he's right on top of things. Watch it once again in real time. Here's another example of him almost jumping that route, just barely missing that interception there. From his position to the quarterback spot, these teams just don't have enough time to react to this guy shooting through that hole. Look at that. I mean, he's all over him. What are they going to do with that? Watch it back in real time again. And again, coming around that corner right there. I mean, it's tough to stop a guy with that kind of speed. It doesn't help much when you got a guy on his side over there that gets to the quarterback before him. As you see, both of these guys got to that quarterback at the same time. Not a very good play there for Alabama. Now, as I said earlier, nobody's perfect, okay? If they were, they'd be the #1 pick, and yeah, they get paid millions and billions, right? But just like anybody else, if he plays long enough, he's going to get beat in coverage. It's just a fact of the matter. There's no way to get around it. Here's one such play where he just gets beat in coverage right there. And, you know, it's off to the races right there. There's nothing that he can do about bad coverage mistakes or about really good play calls. Of course, one of the other intangibles that you can't control is unbelievable plays like this one right here. I mean, this play was just one that you probably couldn't redo if you tried 10 times. But the wide receiver from Minnesota is able to just stretch out there at the last second and make that touchdown. If you watch it in real time, you'll see, man, this is just one hell of a play. Here's another one. This is a really beautiful play, actually. Sainristil jams him just a little bit, but the receiver is able to just flex him off and make his move and outrun him, make the catch, get in for the points. Now, if you're Mike Sainristil, the one person you probably don't want guarding you would be Olu Fashanu, a 6'8", monster from Penn State. But that's who he got, on the bargaining chip here. And he gets put to the ground, but hey, what do you expect? The guy had like almost 11 inches on him. Shit. Now, this is a play that actually ended up being a pretty positive one for Michigan. They ended up fumbling. But when you first started watching it, you see Sainristil overrun the play and Alabama quarterback get outside. Now, of course, you also see he does like a spin move and immediately reacts and gets back on the play. You see that? Like, that's not exactly an easy thing to do, and it's good to see his athletic ability kick in, and it's also good to see that this guy does not give up. If you rewatch this play again, you'll see he does not give up. He keeps moving. He keeps churning the entire play. And, when the fumble happens, he's within 3 steps of trying to recover it. Even though he does not recover it, he's right there at it. You know what I mean? Now, this is just a prime example, I believe, of this young man seeing this big-ass running back coming at him and making a business decision. And I realize there are a lot of people out there that don't agree with making a business decision like this. But when you're 5'9", 182 pounds, and you're going up against a guy who's probably plus 230, 6'2", you might get ran the fuck over. So it looks like he tries to sidestep an arm tackle, and yeah, gets juked out of his freaking shoes right here. And yeah, the Bama running back goes for a touchdown there. So this is by no means a positive image for any football player to have. Being the last line of defense on that defense, you just have to try to make a way to throw your body in front of him to do something there. And he definitely failed on that attempt. I always make it a point to show, the good and the bad in these guys' film. And this definitely was a moment that I'm sure Mikey would like to forget. Of course, you might ask yourself, which one of these would you rather have on your highlight reel? Him trying to dive for the running back, or him getting completely run over? And this was in the national championship game. Penix he makes a good pass here. They had a good little inward route. And yeah, I mean, that's points on the board. With all the opportunities this guy gets of putting a hit on the quarterback, there's obviously going to be that moment where he tries to do it and he misses. But right here, he at least turns this man back inside so that the defense has a chance to get him. Because if he goes outside, he had a couple blockers over there where he could have gotten even more yardage than he did. Against Ohio State here, this is just an example of him getting juked out of his shoes. And there are all kinds of athletes on the field, but got to remember what kind of athletes Ohio State has. And, not making any excuses here because, like I said, obviously, yeah, he got juked out of his shoes there. You see it real time. Watch. The strengths on Mikey Sainristil's scouting report read like this: controlled athlete with foot quickness and clean coverage transitions. Former wide receiver, and it shows in the way he tracks and aggressively attacks the football in the air, with 6 interceptions in 2023. He cleverly balances his eyes between the quarterback and the receiver to decipher route combinations. Very alert in zones, sticks to receivers in man, and flagged only once in college for pass interference in the 2023 national championship game. Athletic in-run support to course correct his angles on the move. Low tackler and he puts his helmet on the ball for knockout opportunities. 3 interception returns of 70-plus yards with 72, 71, and 81 in 2023, including 2 pick sixes. 2-time team captain and described as a player coach and influencer by the Michigan coaching staff. For Michigan defensive backs coach Steve Clinkscale, Mike has changed the mindset of everybody on our team. He's easy to be drawn to. He has experience at both inside and outside cornerback and played on kickoff and punt recovery. His weaknesses are listed as undersized and lacks ideal height, frame, and length. Size will create matchup opportunities for NFL pass catchers. Deep speed is more average than above average by NFL standards. Inconsistent jam technique when attempting to get physical at the line. Savvy quarterbacks will test out his aggressive play style and get him to bite. Will prematurely leave his feet when flying downhill as a run defender, giving the runner a chance to make a move. Needs assistance from the cavalry at times to finish tackles. Will turn 24 years old during his rookie season. Only played on defense for 2 seasons in college. Summary: a 2-year starter at Michigan, Sainristil was the starting nickel in former defensive coordinator Jesse Minter's 4-2-5 scheme, although he also saw 22.1% of his 2023 snaps at outside cornerback. After spending 3 years on offense for the Wolverines, Sainristil moved to defense for the final 2 years and was voted team MVP of the nation's #1 defense. He is a fluid and alert athlete with a wide receiver background, one of just 5 FBS players with at least 6 interceptions in 2023, ranked 2nd in FBS with 232 interception return yards. Though he has some over-aggressive tendencies, he trusts his instincts to anticipate and properly position himself so he can make plays, both in coverage and versus the run. Overall, Sainristil has obvious size limitations that will remove him from some teams' draft boards, but other teams will be more than happy to bet on his outstanding toughness, instincts, and ball skills. He will compete for immediate starting reps as a rookie nickel, and they have a 2nd-round, number 43 overall grade on him, which I'm completely happy with since Washington was able to get him, I believe, what was it, 7 picks after that? Look, folks, I am extremely excited for what this kid brings to that position. You know, the last, couple, 3-4 years, Washington has just been horrible at being able to get turnovers. And everybody that's a fan of this sport knows that you're going to get nowhere in the NFL without turnovers. You have to have turnovers. Any successful defense and any successful team thrives off of turnovers. You know, the points scored off of turnovers is literally the lifeblood of most playoff runs. Without it, a lot of these teams that you see catch fire in late December, early January wouldn't be wearing rings come February or March. And with the NFL now being more about, sub-package this, sub-package that, and moving away from traditional setups, guys like this are really important to the overall, success of your defense. Because if you listen to Dan Quinn and other guys talk on our coaching staff, they'll let you know that defense is going to be 15 to 17 different players meshing together as one to create a full unit. I fully believe that Mike Sainristil will definitely have a major role in that. Now, obviously, what's going to be interesting is to see, how his skills cross over to the NFL. There's been tons of other players in college football history that have gotten a whole lot of picks or turnovers, been good in college, and didn't cross over. Not all of them have the same drive and the same athletic gifts and the same football acronym that this guy does, though. When you shove that much IQ and that much football know-how into that size of a man, you're going to have a football player that's going to show you something come Sunday. Now, I know there's a little bit of discrepancy about his size. Some people were saying he was 5'10". Some people were saying he's 5'9". I think the actual combine height was like 5'9" and like 3/10 or something. But this guy's primarily a nickelback that can play outside. Let's let this one play out before we get ahead of ourselves on his size situation. There's so much dog in this guy, ready to just jump out. I mean, his film is just full of things from the beginning of it to the end of it that should scream football player to you. I fully believe that the new staff is going to try to get the most out of this guy. And to see how excited Dan Quinn was to take him, and knowing how much of a defensive guru Dan Quinn is about his guys and how he likes his guys and how he wants his players to perform, I could just foresee that this guy is going to be successful in his system. At any rate, guys, let me know what you're thinking about Mike Sainristil down in the comments. Where do you think this guy's going to be in 2 seasons? Do you think that he's going to have an immediate impact on the defense? Let me know what you're thinking. And if you haven't already, make sure you reach up there and hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do that. Y'all take it easy. Peace.